So, in case you missed it in the news, the lead singer for the rock band Linkin Park, Chester Bennington, um, sadly killed himself last Thursday from apparent suicide hanging, and I'm speechless. I'm honestly speechless. This is really not going to be a very heavily edited video because um, I'm just so shocked by this, and I know people will probably be like, "What, you like Linkin Park?" Because of course, I don't really talk about music on this channel, but I have always loved Linkin Park from a young age. I've been a massive fan of them, and they've really helped me throughout the years, especially through some of the darker years of my childhood. Um, and I'm still shocked by it. I mean, it's kind of hard because, of course, I listen to Linkin Park quite a lot, but now when I listen to them, it's just so weird to listen to them and think that the main voice of them, Chester Bennington, that he's no longer with us. It's just really, really strange for me personally, and yeah, I wanted to talk a bit about how I got into Linkin Park, and also talk a bit about Chester Bennington in this video. Like I said, it's going to be not very edited, because I don't really feel like there needs to be. I want to try and get a bit more emotion from the video, so yeah, there's not going to really be a whole lot of editing into it, but yeah, let's get into it. So, as to how I got introduced to Linkin Park, it's quite a personal story. It was back in 2008, and this was back at a time where I got heavily bullied a lot at school, quite a fair amount, because from a young age, I developed a bit of a speaking disorders, of which basically I wasn't very good at communicating to other people when I was a lot younger, because I didn't speak my first word as a child until I was about 2 years old, like over 2 years old. And obviously, every kid is meant to speak well before then. So as a result, because of that, I ended up having to go to speech therapy sessions and things like that because my communication skills were so much worse in comparison to everyone else's. Um, and so because of that, um, when I went to first school, it instantly made me the subject of a lot of bullying because obviously I kind of sucked when it came to communicating with people. People would call me an idiot for not knowing words or how to say anything or not being able to talk to people, because at that time when I was a kid, I just found it quite hard. Of course, nowadays I don't have that problem anymore because I've grown older, I've grown a bit more wiser and a bit more intelligent, and now obviously I don't have that problem anymore. But back then, I remember still to this day that it was really hard for me. Um, my parents knew about it as well, and gaming was really one of the ways that I could take my mind off it, and so in that Christmas of that year, 2008, my parents for my PS2 got me a copy of Guitar Hero World Tour, and it was meant to be this game that we could all play as a family, because most of the games I had on my PS2 weren't really family-friendly games. I mean, they were mainly like the Metal Gear Solid games, Souls Battlefront, Simpsons Hit and Run, like just so many other games, but you can't really play them as a family. So we got that game, and I remember playing that game to death. And if there's anybody wondering why are you playing on a PS2, the PS3 had been out for 2 years by that point. It's because back in when I was in 2008, sorry, I really wasn't that into gaming, and plus the PS3 was still at a stupid price. For my age at that time, I just wasn't bothered by it. I didn't really care about the PS3, so that's why I still had my PS2. But yeah, we played that game a lot, and it was really fun memories of that game. And one of the songs on the game that really resonated with me and I really liked was a song called What I've Done, which was by, of course, Linkin Park. And I remember playing that song so many times on Guitar Hero World Tour, trying to get 100% on it on the hardest difficulty settings, to the point where I was like, do you know what, I really like this band, I might have to go and buy the album for them. So I got my dad to go get the album for me when it was next out. And of course that album was Minutes to Midnight. I got the album and I listened to it to death for ages and ages, and I was like, okay, I need to get the first two albums, the other albums that they've done afterwards when I listened to it. And it really did become the music of my childhood, and from that moment forward, I became a Linkin Park fan because their music resonated with me so much. You know, all their themes in it, the anger you could feel within their voices, you know, the sadness and regret they have in their songs. I just really connected with it because, you know, I felt like I was going through the same thing at the time. And Linkin Park's music easily helped me get through some of the darkest days of my childhood. And without them, I really don't think I would be as confident as I am today to be able to make a YouTube channel, you know, when all your friends could easily go online and watch it. It takes a bit of balls, I'd say, to do that, especially with the amount of, you know, like I said, the amount of stick you can get from your mates who are doing it. But if it weren't for Linkin Park, I don't think I would have grown in confidence as I got older without their music to help me during those days. And yeah, I'm really thankful for them. I mean, I do consider myself a massive Linkin Park fan. I've got a lot of posters of them. I collect quite a lot of the memorabilia. I have all of their albums. I even have all their like remix albums that they've done. Sure, some of them are awful, but I still have them for collection's sake. The only one regret I have as a Linkin Park fan is that I've never seen them live, only because every time I've tried to do so, the tickets have sold out. Because, yeah, it kind of does suck. And now, of course, with Chester gone, I'll never be able to see, you know, the lead singer of Linkin Park live ever again. So it is upsetting in that regard. And it is like my one thing that I wish I could go back and change was to go and see them live, because I really wanted to, you know, for almost a decade. So yeah, that is probably the one regret I have as a fan about them. And just, you know, like I said, the music, they had an impact on me, but it was one album in particular that really stood out to me, and that was, of course, Meteora, which was, I believe, their second album that they created. It's easily, for me, one of my favorite albums of all time, and this is not because of the fact that it's nostalgic, because it helped me from my childhood. I mean, in general, this album is fantastic. It's got so much emotion in it, so much heart, and it's so varied as well, with what the songs cover, and you know, the tempo of them. It truly is a phenomenal album. I mean, there's a reason that it was one of the best-selling albums of the early 2000s, because it's just amazing. It's phenomenal. I mean, sure, I love Hybrid Theory, which is their first album, but Meteora for me was like the creme de la creme for Linkin Park. It was fantastic. It was a phenomenal album, and it's one that I still listen to this day quite frequently, because I just love it. And in regards to Chester Bennington and my thoughts on him, from what I have always seen of him, he always seemed like someone who really did care, not just about his fans, you know, because like most artists should do, and he did a lot. Like, you could just tell that he loved the support of the fans and the fans who backed him, but he just seemed like a genuine person as well in his interviews. And, you know, I could remember when One More Light, which is the recent Linkin Park album, when that came out, Chester was getting a lot of stick from people, you know, calling him and Linkin Park a sellout for trying to make a poppy album. And I remember him getting so upset by that, because they weren't making a pop album. They were making what they felt like they wanted to make, because, you know, one of the things that you know, kind of made Linkin Park fans a bit divisive over the years is the fact that Linkin Park has repeatedly changed their sound with pretty much every album that they've done since Meteora. And for me personally, I've not had a problem with that. I think it's completely understandable and actually the right thing to do, because you can't just keep on making the exact same sound over and over again just to get the same results, because at the end of the day, you are going to end up with fans just getting bored of it. I think the biggest band I can give the criticism of making the same music to this day is by far Nickelback. Like, you've seen that band. That band just makes the same kind of music over and over again, to the point where people make parody videos of how similar their songs are. And it's true, their songs are too similar. They've been around for like 15 years and they're still making the same music. Linkin Park's music is so different because every single album is a different album when you think about it. I mean, let's think about it. The first two albums, Hybrid Theory and Meteora, they are essentially new metal / rock albums. Minutes to Midnight is an alternative rock / kind of an experimental album. 1,000 Suns, electronic rock / experimental. Living Things, pop rock, electronic rock, genre. The Hunting Party was literally just heavy metal, and it was just, that was amazing, a really underrated album. And of course, One More Light was kind of like more of the entering into the pop rock that was in Living Things. And every album just feels different. And that variation for me was needed by Linkin Park. And Chester Bennington really did believe in it. He did believe in what he stood for, and he felt it was right. And, you know, I would never do anything to try and call him a sellout, because he wasn't a sellout. He was only doing what he felt him and the band wanted to do. And I respect him even more for that. And just, you know, his attitude to life as well. I mean, when you look at his past, you know, he was abused, you know, as a child, and, you know, the alcohol and drug problems, which he frequently talked about in his music, which I thought was a very brave thing to do. And I just have a massive amount of respect for him. All the things that he went through as a kid, and then to come out and be a part of one of the most successful US rock bands of the 2000s, it's a phenomenal achievement. And like I said, I only have the utmost respect for him because of what he's been able to achieve over the course of his life. And the fact that he's no longer with us, it's just such a massive shame. And yeah, it's just if I sound like I'm tearing up for this video, it's because, like, when I heard the news, I was crying so badly, because, like, you know, it just affected me so much that one of the people, you know, the lead vocal for a band who helped me so much as I was a child, is now no longer with me, and with us, sorry. And it's just, yeah, it's really, really hard to get used to. But yeah, I want to send my condolences to Chester Bennington's family. I mean, he's got 6 kids. I dread to think what they're going through right now. I want to say to my condolences as well to all the members of Linkin Park. You know, I'm sure they're going through a hard time as well. And also all the fans like me, you know, who definitely, there's a lot of us grieving out there. And also any of other of Chester's family and friends that, you know, there is. Because, like I said, everyone associated with Linkin Park and Chester Bennington will be going through a hard time at this moment, because, you know, Linkin Park simply won't be the same for me without him. They might be better, they might be worse, but they'll never be the same. And Chester Bennington's passing is really just the main reason for that. It's just really hard to get used to, but I'm just thankful that I was alive when he was able to make such amazing music, and, you know, for that, for me, I'll never forget. So, with that being said, that's going to be my video for Linkin Park and Chester Bennington. Yeah. Let me know in the comment section down below if you have listened to Linkin Park music before and what you think of it. And do you think Linkin Park should continue now that Chester Bennington has passed away? So yeah, let me know all that in the comment section down below. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you again next time.